Ois Gimel, the Rebbe goes into explaining the idea. You could say, seemingly you could say, that in the earlier generations, the people that served the sun, the moon, the stars, and all the other stuff up there and somewhere in space, the reason why they did it, two explanations, two mistakes. Mistake number one, which comes out to the bottom line, is there's a one-liner. That's the mistake. Which if they would have had that in mind, which the Rebbe ends off with us, that's what a Yid has, which comes from Das. Garzen, Yad HaChitzev, it's like an axe in the hand of the chopper. Let's go back to the two mistakes. Mistake number one. They thought that the Eibusher gave them the Bechira, the choice, to give Ashba, to give sustenance. They have the free will to give whatever they want to give. They have the Bechira, but they don't know that it's like the hand, the axe in the hand of the chopper. That's in the beginning of the earlier generations. But from that mistake, the Rebbe says, comes out to a greater mistake. Not only is it this idea that they know there's a Eibusher, there's a God. Do they don't? There's a creator. There's the sun, the moon, the stars. And they have the choice to give, that the crop should grow and it should rain. It's their choice, which is the mistake they had. But that causes another mistake. They look at it like a physical world, a physical example, president, king. He doesn't know that the sanitation didn't come to my block and take out the garbage. He doesn't get involved in the little details of every single block and every single person and every single state and country, whatever it is. He has people that he appointed to take care of all that stuff. Once in a blue moon, if something's really, really important, if he heard of something, he will stick his face into the picture. Now they think that the Eibusher Pasha left it in their hands, like this king that appointed other people, the mayor, the Congress, the Senate, the police, whatever it is, on that place, and they run the show. So they're like the sun, the moon, and the stars. They give Ashba, they decide what's going to be. So that's the second mistake, which is Nishtalshal, which comes from the first mistake of Bechira, that they have free choice, comes to this idea of that God left the universe and they have the choice to give Ashba, give sustenance, give life, give source, whatever they want to give. It's in their hands and God's removed from the picture. Now the Rebbe comes into explaining this idea that the Alter Rebbe brings down in Tanya, in Perach Beis, the Kodali Kaya. They call God the God of the gods. And this, you have both mistakes. You have both ideas. The Rebbe goes on explaining the first, Kodali Kaya, which is a second explanation that God left Chas v'Shalom, one of the time to say such a thing, that God's not here, and he left it in their hands. Now the Goyim, they say that God's the God of the gods, like this king that left. He's not involved in every little thing. God gave it to them, the power to take care of the universe. What do they put the focus on? Elikah or Elikaya? See, the God of the gods. See, in both, you have Elikah, Elikaya, you have both mistakes. The mistake of Bechira, that God gave them the free choice, or God's Bechal, he's totally not involved in the universe. And this is what the Rebbe brings down, the Yeshloimar, that the world calls him Elikah, Elikaya, is in the two sugim, the two mistakes. The first thing the Rebbe says, that they think that God left the world and he left it in their hands. B'Shem Elikah, the Elikaya. God's above it. God, he rules. He's there. He's on top of them. But he left it in their hands, Ladatom, according to their seicha, how they want to run the show, how they want to give ashpa. God gave them power in their hands. Like we said, the Sarei HaMelech, the king that has his people are running the show in different places. And it's up to their brain to decide how they want to rule certain places. When you have the other idea, the second mistake, which is really the first mistake, which brings to the second mistake, Bechira, which is the idea of, the Rebbe says, Belikod Elikaya, here the emphasis on Elikaya, even though that they could do in their own ratzon, they have their own free choice to do it. Comes from God. And this is the opposite idea of Elikim Achedim. They're not saying it's other gods. They're calling him the God of the gods. There's other gods, Elikim Achedim. They have their own power, which would be the idea of Ezagui. It's God left the universe. He created other little gods. But here we're saying, He's the God of the gods. He gave them the power through him that they could decide what Hashpa is coming to the Eibishter, that they could, he gave them, he charged their battery, and however much he gives them, that's how much they could give. They have their Bechira according to the Eibishter's Bechira. So that's the second idea, the second mistake, which really is the first mistake, which brings to the second mistake of Ezagui Asar, to say that God left the universe chas v'shalom. But the whole idea here is that you have to know one thing, that everything is like that, axe in the hand of the chopper, and the Yid knows that. The Yid knows that, and that's why he doesn't come to any mistake. Everything is really in the hands of God. And he didn't let go of it. He's still holding it the whole time. It's in his hands. God's running the universe the way he wants it to be, and he's the one running it. I'm not going to go into the different discussions. There's a Gemara in Marcus that says anything that's in your hand. Brings down a story with a te'ena. He threw a fig at the tree. The tree knocked down something and hit somebody and killed somebody. So the Gemara says that your hand, whatever left your hand, is like your hand. So it's as if your hand knocked the tree, not the thing. It's your hand itself. Tzemach Tzedek has a chakira, the idea of a rock, which is the idea of the Eibishter is cool or not cool, if he could do something that he can't do. I don't want to get sidetracked, but one more thing, the idea of the Rebbe Rashab says, question, why couldn't the Eibishter create the world like a wall that you make, and he just throws it, he gives it life for 6,000 years. Created the light, he just threw it, took a ball, created it, and he just threw it. The Rebbe Rashab says no, he's actually holding the ball in his hand the whole time. The world, the axe, is in his hand the whole time. He gives a few reasons. The first reason is because if you do an example, Begashmis, the second you throw it, even if it's going up, eventually it's losing its koyach, so it's on its way down. The Gemara says that the second the baby is born, he starts to get dry. Even though he's going up, the power is not everlasting, it's on its way down. Nevertheless, the Rebbe Rashab brings down the idea of Hashgacha Pratis. God is there in every single situation, every single second. The world is in Hashem's hands. A Yid, the reason why he knows that is because of Das. What is Das? What in the world is Das? Das is that you apply the thing to yourself. You could learn this Maamar and you could tell yourself you're going to choose the Eibishter. And after that, because the Das is missing. You didn't got to tell on our Sinai, they did the Egel. The Das was missing. The professor told somebody not to smoke, he went to smoke right after. Why? The das is missing. XYZ will not happen to me if I take substance, this and this substance. The das is not there. Why is this person different than anybody else? Das is something which is the most important idea after Chachma Bina. You have to have the das. It means something to me. The idea of das is you apply it to you, it's negea to you, it means something to you, it affects you, it talks to you, it's one thing with you. It is me. It has to. It's gonna make a difference whatever I do, or if I don't do it. It's gonna affect. It actually means something. It's gonna do something. That das comes. That das sits in your head through his baitinus, contemplating, thinking about the thing. The more you know about something, the more the das is there. This das this person has to think to himself the idea of that the world, that everything is like the hand in the Eibishter's hand, the axe in the hand of the chopper, the Eibishter. All the other Sarim and all the other, the sun, the moon, the stars, even though they look like they have their own koyach, it looks like they have their own power to give their own life source and their own ashpa, whatever they want. It looks like they have the power. It's not true. It is not true. They look like meteors. They look like stuff that have their own bechira, their own choice. The Rebbe tells you no. And you need to pashut be a smart guy, bechira, the pikech, this wise guy, has to have the das to give it up. To give up. We're gonna get our stuckle heads up. What the Rebbe goes into explaining. But the nekuda is giving up the pleasure of the moment for the long run. Giving up right now what might look good, but in the long run, you're just losing if you give in. In other words, you're being penny smart, dollar stupid. You're gonna have to go to the mechanic every day. You're gonna have to buy new paint every day. You're gonna have to fix your floor every day. You're gonna have to buy whatever it is. An investment on the long run is what's at stake if you do at the moment. So the idea here is that the nakuda, the line is everything is like the axe in the hand of the chopper, and he doesn't let go. It's not that they have free choice. It's not that he left it and he just left it. And they think they're going to get more by connecting to it. Like the waiter by the meal, if you tell him thank you, he'll give you a little more wine. It's not like that. Ad kan, ois, BEYOM.